The game you're looking at right now is called TERRORhythm, and it's one of 3 games we're going to be talking about in this episode of Early Access. This is the show where we talk about some of the recent additions to Steam Early Access and figure out if they're worth your time. Today we'll be playing Double Kick Heroes, Neon the Ninja, and of course, TERRORhythm. This is going to be a packed episode, so let's just jump right into our first game. Few things have gotten me more in the mood to play a video game than the opening cinema in Rock Band 2. It's this action-packed chase scene where a band of musicians rock out on top of a speeding car. The brand new game Double Kick Heroes takes that cinema, adds zombies, and then mashes together elements from both rhythm games and old school shoot-em-ups to create a musical experience you won't be able to get out of your head. This is the story of a band on the run. Literally. When our heroes realize that their latest gig is in front of a bunch of brain-eating zombies, they hit the road in hopes of finding salvation. Unfortunately, safety is fleeting in this world of the undead, but thankfully the car is equipped with some heavy firepower to go along with that heavy metal. Double Kick Heroes is a fun little rhythm game that has you hitting buttons on beat with the music. It starts out simple enough where you're hitting the button to fire high and low, but as we progress through the 30 action-packed stages, we learn new abilities that make the charting a lot more complicated. For example, you'll be able to throw grenades, but only if you hit a certain amount of round notes at the right time. The Steam Early Access build may be, well, early, but it already has a lot of great content and hints at what's to come. We're able to play through the first bit of the story mode, which includes a bunch of cinemas with colorful characters and pop culture references. It also has a few typos, but I'm sure they'll catch those before the final build. If you're not interested in the story, the arcade mode will allow you to play through all of the stages, including the bosses, without any of the filler. Perhaps the coolest aspect of the game is that you can import your own music and create levels based on those songs. But even if you don't want to take the time to do all of that, you'll find a great mix of rock and metal songs from what the press notes refer to as a legendary video game and metal composer. From the music, to the pixel graphics, to the rock and roll superstars scattered around this post-apocalyptic hellscape, there's a lot about this presentation that I like. Double Kick Heroes is currently in Steam Early Access for $14.99, with a planned release towards the end of the year. There's quite a bit of content already available, and twice as much promised in the final build. Between the goofy story and the level creator, I think Double Kick Heroes is worth checking out. If you've watched this channel with any regularity, then you already know that I love most of those old school 8-bit ninja games from my childhood. You may have also heard me beg developers to bring that genre back. Apparently, the good people at New 90s Games listened, because Neon the Ninja is an action-packed platformer that feels like a cross between Ninja Gaiden and Mega Man, with a little of Gex mixed in just to make things interesting. What we have here is a fun little side-scrolling action stealth game starring a punk rock lizard with 2 incredibly sharp swords. It's up to this little guy to hack and slash his way through 8 platform-heavy stages that you can choose in any order. Each of these stages has an over-the-top boss to take on, which will ultimately lead to you learning their powers and using it to your advantage in the next stage. The cartoony villains include everybody from Kim Jong-un to the Pope to an Atlanta-based rapper known as ATM. Currently, Neon the Ninja only has 3 stages unlocked, but that's more than enough to give you a taste of what you can expect from this delightful action game. And the good news is that you won't have to wait very long for more content. The developers are planning on releasing new levels, bosses, and upgrades every month right up to its early 2019 release. And much like Ninja Gaiden, and pretty much every other ninja game released during the 8-bit era, Neon the Ninja is tough. The good news is that it's fair, especially when compared to some of the games that inspired it. The gameplay is precise, and I loved being able to blend in with the environments to perform some well-timed stealth kills. And then there are the bosses, who are always challenging, always requiring you to memorize patterns and look for safe spots. These bosses will even change forms, giving us some truly epic and satisfying 2D battles. Now I do have 2 minor nitpicks. For as much as I like Neon as a character, I wasn't completely sold on his one-liners. I suspect it's purposely mimicking the cheesy dialogue of the 1990s, but I found it to be a lot more cringe-inducing than funny. I also hope they add some sort of indicators for when the wind will blow you off of the platform. I found most of the game to be fair, but there's this bit where the wind will come up and gust from all sides. This means that you'll get blown right into a bottomless pit because you jumped at the wrong time. A visual or audio warning would go a long way to solve this issue. Wind troubles aside, Neon the Ninja is a fun little action game that is definitely worth checking out. It's currently in Steam Early Access for $9.99 and will go up in price when the finished version launches in early 2019. Yeah, there's still a bit of a wait when it comes to this one, but what's currently there is incredibly promising. I'm officially excited for 2019. Have you ever played an old school beat 'em up and wished that there was a music component to the action? That seems to be the impetus for TERRORhythm, a stylish new brawler that has you punching, kicking, and slashing your opponents to a heavy electronic beat. The question is, can you keep up? TERRORhythm is the kind of game that looks too simple to be fun. You just stand in one place and punch 25th century security guards until the song is over. It's like a stationary version of Kung Fu Master. But things are not as simple as they first appear, especially if you're looking to survive long enough to earn a high score. The trick is that you can only attack your opponents on beat, which forces you to methodically jump back and forth between the bad guys on the left and right. Miss a beat and you'll leave yourself open to a hit and lose a combo chain. Now in those beats when you're not punching futuristic ninjas, you'll want to press the down button on beat to extend the reach. This allows you to cover more ground, but only temporarily. This window will decrease with every successful hit, so there's a constant push to extend the reach and knock out the bad guys. It's a juggling act, especially in the higher difficulties. To make things even tougher, TERRORhythm is constantly throwing new types of enemies at you. Some you'll need to hit multiple times, others will jump on all sides of you, and there are even a few that require you to trigger a more powerful attack in order to take them down. According to developer Defunct Games, the finished version will include a lot more content and bad guys. So what we have in this early access build is just a taste of what's to come. Now much like Double Kick Heroes, TERRORhythm allows you to upload your own music for customized games. This is a cool idea, but it doesn't fix the inherent problem with the gameplay. In its current state, I had some issues finding the beat and maintaining the flow. It's not that the game is tough, but it sometimes feels like it's not designed with the song in mind. Furthermore, I wish there was a little bit more to the gameplay. The different bad guys help to keep things challenging, but it won't take long for the game to become repetitive. If you're not chasing high scores, then the fun of the game may end up being limited. The good news is that TERRORhythm won't be in early access for very long. The developers are saying that they hope to launch the game this summer, so it sounds like there's going to be a big influx of content in the coming weeks. The game is currently $9.99 and offers 15 striking levels, 4 types of enemies, 3 weapons, 2 modes, and 1 very pissed off hero beating up bad guys to EDM beats. There's a lot of potential in TERRORhythm. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Early Access. So here's the question I have for you. Who's your favorite talking mascot character? Yeah, I know that most mascot characters eventually talked in their games, but that's not what I mean. I'm talking about old school characters that had one-liners. Let me hear your thoughts in the comments below. So this is a series I plan on running more often because I have this huge pile of early access games to get through. We'll be back shortly with more reviews and talk about old school magazines. In the meantime, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.